Okay, we didn't mean to leave you hanging. If anything, it did not show us the invite. I was like, man, that kid of his takes forever to go to bed.
No, I was having trouble getting the YouTube
Oh, it's fine. If
synced.
anything, you could always message one of us because I did it once for Contessa,
Cool.
and I had a freak out. Thankfully, Jamie was like, "You're gonna press this," and I was like, "My game is supposed to start."
Yeah, it's good. I like
Oh,
just I was
Toby
trying to
sent us
figure
a
out
message.
which parts were missing, but I think it's all good now. Hey, is my screen mirrored?
Yeah,
Yes, it
it'll mirror automatically.
for you it'll look mirrored, but for us it'll look right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll look correct, yeah.
I it doesn't particularly matter. I just happen to be by that poster, so
I saw that Toby sent us a message in the chat.
hmm he's was maybe going to be working.
Yeah, typically since he lives in the Philippines, right, Seth?
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
Because each time we've had a game that he's very interested in, he's like, "It's 9 o'clock my time, you guys." I'm like, sorry.
Yeah. It's like, sorry, dude.
And I know Rivera said he wanted to play.
Right on. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good. It's a long weekend, which is nice.
Let's see. So I sent you guys the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm perfectly happy with, you know, like I can play, or two people can play, and I can facilitate. It's this is a low stress game compared to
I mean, yeah, it's
I
2 pages including the cover, so it's
yes.
very, very light.
It's like
Oh, the thing is not letting Rivera join us for some reason. So let me tell him to restart.
okay.
Oh, that sucks for Toby. I know Sean wanted to watch us like a creeper. I'm
That's
not sure if
fine.
he's going to be answering. I feel bad for Clausy because she's been sick for nearly 2 weeks now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been really sad because you see her in the game. We run some few games and she was just like staring. We're like, Clausy, are you okay? She's like, my sister-in-law started working again. She's worked for first graders. Those kids are covered in germs. Like, we're sorry. I know I got very sick the first year I was living with Seth because he worked with children.
My
yeah.
immune system's to the point where nothing phases it. I've been doing it for 7 years. I'm like, I don't get colds anymore.
Yeah, my wife went back last week, and I swear she's the only one who hasn't been sick.
What does she teach?
High school.
Oh,
Uh,
God. The only reason I go, oh God, is that like I work with a nonprofit that we provide high school stuff, and so typically I'm just like, when we go into high school, like you poor creatures, you. Hey, it's Rivera.
How's it going? Finally, this thing decided to work.
Right on. So, how was the wedding?
Oh, the one I was photographing? It was quite a small event. It was all right.
Cool.
It's photographing weddings is always very tiring, but that one was pretty easy.
You should have gone into your neighbor's house and photographed the dolls.
Oh yeah, I haven't been able to go to my mom's house.
You need to
Uh,
do that
yeah,
because
I'll
my
check it.
aunt has a room full of dolls. She just started like collecting them, maybe like out of the blue. She started collecting dolls. And my
Oh,
mother's like, okay. And it was like these antique ringlet dolls, like And I remember just be sitting in her house. Seth once saw them. He's like, "What the hell is with all these dolls?" I'm like, "Shut up and smile, Seth."
My neighbor, she has mostly porcelain dolls. So
That's
they're
cool.
like high class type thing. That some of them are really expensive. Well, my mom's neighbor, not mine. She's not in my neighbor anymore. But they're like really high class, like stylish type thing. They look nice, but they look creepy as hell.
Yeah, that's the thing about them. The unblinking, innocent-looking eyes.
It's been since I've been working on this. It's funny to me. Like, I mean, I get that it's a little bit creepy, or at least some dolls are meant to be creepy.
Mhm.
But it's interesting to hear from all the people who are like, "That's their thing." That's
Yeah, I'm
like,
not afraid of dolls, but it's
It's
really
like
unnerving when you're in a room by yourself and there's a ton of them. Especially in Hispanic culture, there's always that one person that's like, there's a soul trapped in there just to mess with you. Thanks, Seth. Thanks.
oh yeah, yeah. That reminded me. I I gotta mess. See if I can mess with your head here.
You do know who I'm married to, right? I don't think you've ever played a game with Seth leading the game.
yes,
Nice.
Seth is special.
There's there's some bloatware that came. Oh, it might not work. Nope. Google defeated it. There's some software I can use it on Skype that came with my laptop that like uses the webcam and interposes like a face that's very very crappily animated. So there's like a teddy bear that blinks when you
Mhm.
blink and its mouth kind of moves when you talk. It's pretty cool.
That
So
sounds epic.
I was gonna try to use that, but looks like it doesn't work with Google running.
Well,
That's
Google has
okay.
its own effects. I think Seth is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog.
Well, okay, well, yeah, very nice. I don't know what that was, but
Supposed to be a cat.
so I'm Josh. Ariana, I know. Seth, I've met. Is it Rivera? Is that right?
Yep, that'll be me.
Okay, right on. I know Ariana wants to play. Do either of you guys want to play?
Well, I want to watch first. I was reading over the documents. It seems pretty simple, but I want to see what's going on with it first.
Sure. Well, it's it's definitely one that's not that hard to pick up. It's weird for me to like. One of the things that is in the rules of the game is to play where other people can watch you, just because I think that that's a funny rule to have for this particular game. But
Okay.
I'll admit that that still freaks me out to have other people watching me while I'm gaming. So we'll just have to get over that. All right. So do you want Ariana? Do you want to be the doll or the kid?
I'll be the doll, just
Okay.
so I can see someone else be the kid.
Right on. Well, I'm guessing that I'm going to be the kid for this first one then. It seems like. So I've got my rules here. Do you have them?
I am pulling them up right now.
Okay.
Always prepared as always, Ariana. Prepared as always. Every time I play a game, and I'm like, guys, just read over this one-page thing before we play. We get to the game, everyone's read it except for my wife. When she's like, yeah, I'll catch
Well,
up.
typically
Okay.
I am prepared, but this weekend I was like, "You're running all the games, so screw it."
This is one that I don't think you need. It's like we could almost make it a rule that you have to read all of the rules before you play.
Yeah, it's very simple, very short.
Okay. So do you have a doll?
I don't. Well, I have a dolly doll that I can use, I guess. I'll
Yeah,
go
you have a
grab
Salvador Dali doll.
it.
That works. Yeah. Nice. This is Walter.
Nice.
That's a puppet, right?
Yep.
When I got 2 dolls, I also got my artsy doll.
Oh, right on. I think we have one of those, possibly in this room. Dolly.
That could be the hack of doll. It's Dolly. D-A-L-I.
Dolly.
You say that, but like I am enough of a lover of puns that I had already been.
It
thinking
just involves melting clocks or somehow
It's
integrated
how
into
can-
the game.
It's like, what excuse can I have for making a Dolly hack? Okay, let's see. So a couple of things that aren't in the rules that I find helpful just to think about are we don't want to make the game too creepy for one of the two people. I don't really care. I'm good. But if
I'm fine.
yeah, and then
Staring at you, Seth, because you know why.
Well, I've conditioned you well.
and then whenever we get to the question, like whenever the child asks the doll a question, it's like on the count of 3, we do this, this, or this.
Mhm.
And you can do it with the doll if you want, just because that's fun. And if we're matching, like if we're both like this, then the doll can't lie. But the rest of the time, if I'm asking you a question, you get to pick whether you're telling me the truth or not. So that's the big mechanic. And assume that the doll knows what the truth is when I'm asking a question. But do you just want to say 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, because I think that would make sense considering
Okay.
we don't want to see the other person do it and then we just follow what they're doing just so we can get the truth or whatever.
Right. Like, if we were in the same room, it would be easier to go like do something. We're like, huh? But we can just say 1, 2, 3 since we're doing it remotely. So you don't have to pay attention to any subtle clues in body language. Okay, so I'm going to, just for fun, I will play as my kid Sam, he's very little. We'll just say for the sake of this story that he is not quite kindergarten age. He's actually 2, but we'll just go ahead and say he's like 4 or something like that for this. And Sam's cat, Midnight, has just died. So that's the first event. I'm paying attention to the time, but I'm going to be asking you questions about what's going on, and I'm going to be describing the general events. If you ever feel like you want to interrupt and say, and Sam, like if you want to take the game crazy supernatural, you can.
Okay.
As the doll player, some games go that way, some games don't. But so Sam is a little kid, and he's saying, "Oh, is his doll's name Dolly?" I think that.
Let's go with that.
Okay, it's like, Dolly, why did my little cat die? Why is Midnight dead? Is he in a better place now? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. All right, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3.
You stared straight ahead.
Okay.
No,
keep doing the doll, keep
that
doing
way.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
weird
You're
using
good.
the doll.
I stared straight ahead, and you went that way. Wait. Oh, my screen's mirrored. Is this going to totally screw us up?
No, because we're gonna see it.
Mind opposite of what we see.
Okay. So you tell me whether it worked or not, because I don't want to have to think that hard.
Okay, it works fine.
And I
turn
won't
it to
stare
the-
straight ahead every
The
single
left,
time.
right, Ariana.
Yeah.
And he stared straight ahead.
Okay. So that means that you, as the doll, get to choose how you respond to the question. What happened.
Oh, the doll says, "I don't think there is a better place."
Hmm. So he's gone, or is he just somewhere worse?
Oh, he's still around.
Oh, okay. So am I gonna get to see him again sometime?
Every time you feel a cold shiver, he's there.
Oh, okay. That's good, I guess. Uh, do you know what happened to Midnight? Do you know? My parents didn't tell me. They just told me he was dead, and they explained that to me. But do you know how he died? All right. 1, 2, 3. Did you just miss it?
No, I didn't miss it. I just had him stare ahead.
Okay, awesome.
um, I think he died because you didn't love him enough.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Dolly is a terrible doll. Okay. Well, but I fed him twice a day, and I didn't pull his tail anymore after Daddy told me not to. What? Why? How did I not love him enough? What did I do wrong?
You have to do a 1, 2, 3, or just a straight up answer.
I think this is the same question.
You didn't take his sacrifices.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
And she says the set is the weird one over here.
It's like sacrifices. What are those? How does that? Was I supposed to give him some of my juice?
No, the sacrifices he would leave around, the dead birds, and the mice. You didn't cherish them.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's my fault that Midnight's gone. Okay, so we're just about at the time where one of Sam's parents, let's say, for instance, his mom, puts him into bed, and then he can hear his parents shouting in the other room. He can't quite make out what they're saying, but he's a little worried. So he says, "Dolly, do you know why my parents are mad?" All right, 1, 2, 3.
Your parents are mad because they need to sacrifice you.
No. Oh, by the way, I didn't say this out loud, but one of the things the doll player is supposed to do ahead of time is decide. Like, you can tell the truth, you can lie whenever, but you're supposed to decide ahead of time whether the child's parents are like
Oh
terrible
yeah, I already
people.
decided. Don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay. Good. All right. And the doll can be terrible, and the parents can also be terrible. But
Well, I think she's made the doll terrible. I think
Yeah.
she's done a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
awesome. Okay. Uh, so they need to sacrifice me, like with the dead birds and stuff.
No, it just needs to know who has to take you.
Uh-oh. That sounds terrible. Uh, maybe. Do you think maybe I can talk to my teacher at school about it? At daycare. Does she maybe know how to make my parents be nice? Okay.
So that means she has to tell the truth, right?
Yes.
Perhaps, but the problem is adults have issues in believing little children.
Oh, yeah. I guess I've kind of noticed that. I mean, I was I was trying to tell my dad about this bug that I saw, and he didn't see it, so he just didn't even believe it was a real thing. And when I had that dream about the dragon, he didn't believe that either. So
How can he not believe your dreams?
I don't know, because he's a grown up. He does stuff like drive cars.
Terrible things. Terrible.
Okay. Well, um, I guess I'll just have to figure out how to convince my parents. How do you think there's a way I can convince them not to sacrifice me? Like maybe if we get another, like we can sacrifice our other cats. You think maybe that'll work?
No.
1, 2, 3.
Went the same way.
Yeah.
So do you think killing the cats would help?
No. Your mother hates cats.
Oh. Well, if I guess if she hates cats, we shouldn't sacrifice them to her.
Maybe if you tell them you want a little brother.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. You know, some of my friends have little brothers, and they get to, when something goes wrong, they can sometimes blame it on their sibling, on their little brother. So yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so we're at the next event, which is Sam falls asleep and begins to have a nightmare, and the doll is still around, and they're still interacting the same. So I'm going to say Sam is having a bad dream. There's a dragon that's chasing him, and there's a dead bird, and he keeps looking for Midnight, but he's having a hard time finding Midnight in the dream. All right. Well, excuse me. Dolly, do you think, now again in the dream you get to pick what's, like, generally speaking, what's the truth and what's a lie is a little bit more up to you, depending on what kind of questions come up during the dream part. Dolly, do you think maybe that Midnight will come save me from the dragon? 1, 2, 3.
Of course Midnight will save me from the dragon.
Oh, good.
Cats love lizards.
Cats love lizards, is that what you said? Yeah, that's right. They do. They're, those geckos that are on the back window. The cats always seem to wanna chase those. So maybe Midnight will come back from the dead and fight the dragon. Okay, well, what do you think I should do with this dead bird here? Do you think maybe if I give it to Midnight, then things will be even better when I wake up?
You should give it to your mother. She'll appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. She doesn't like cats, but she does like birds. Do you
She
think
likes
that?
to eat chicken, so that's a
Oh,
bird.
oh, do you think I should try to feed it to her when she takes her nap?
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, so do you think I should feed it to her when she takes her nap?
Feathers and all. Yum, yum.
Awesome. By the way, you're looking super creepy behind your doll. You're doing a good job. I'm concerned for your future children.
I think right now Seth is like, cha-ching! I'm not having any kids now.
That's awesome. Okay, so where were we? Oh, we were in the dream. What do you think? Is there other? What? Sometimes I struggle to make the dream as long as the other parts. So, let's see. The dragon's chasing Sam. Midnight comes and saves the day, but the dead bird comes to life and starts talking like his mom and says, "Samuel, I'm very hungry. I'm very, very hungry, and I'm not sure I can wait until you wake up." So Sam turns to Dolly and says, "Do you think there's something we can do to make the dead bird mommy not as hungry? What like what do you think is the best idea?"
We were putting it the same way, just making sure because that's all I could see.
Hmm.
Put it this way. I think you should put it on her pillow.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a good idea. I guess I'll try that when I wake up. All right, so it's just about time for the next and final event, which is Sam wakes up. It's the next morning, and Sam's dad is preparing to take him on a special trip. Usually, a special trip means that they're going to go to Walmart or the grocery store and that Sam might get some sort of a special treat. But considering the terrible dream he just had, he's a little worried that they're going to take him and sacrifice him. So he's like, Dolly, do you think we're going to get a treat on this trip? Do you think we're going to stop at a store like we usually do?
I think your father's just gonna go over to Walmart and buy himself some beer to forget about his pain.
Okay. Well, that is his special juice, and we do sometimes get that at Walmart.
A can full of joy.
A can full of joy. Oh my goodness. Well, do you think maybe when we get back we'll play some sort of game? Like, do you think maybe I can get him to play hide and seek with me?
I don't think you want to play hide and seek with him.
Yeah, I mean, I do need to help Mommy. I need to go give her that dead bird from the backyard. So maybe hide and seek isn't the best plan. Maybe I should convince Daddy that I need a nap or something.
Yes, a nap would be the best.
Okay. Well, Mr. Dolly, I think maybe when we go on the special trip with Daddy that I should be an extra good boy in the store. Do you think I should be an extra good boy? Do you think they'll help Daddy to forget some of his troubles?
I think you should be an extra good boy.
Okay.
Until he gets some beers in him at the least.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a plan then. I guess that's what I'll have to do. All right. So they go off on their special trip, and why don't we go ahead and call it there? It's not quite 20 minutes, but seems like a good place to stop. So I get to pick, or I'm supposed to guess whether my parents are evil or wonderful based off of what the doll said. I'm going to guess that the parents are wonderful, but it could also just be that the doll is creepy and my parents are also bad.
I was going that your parents were bad.
Okay.
And the dog is extra creepy.
And the doll's worse.
Okay.
They summoned the doll one night and they gave it to the child to keep an eye on him.
Right on.
Yeah.
That was
That-
the funniest game. Just see like Rivera and like Seth's reactions. I'm like, I don't know if
Like-
Seth is gonna be like, here's a puppet. Now this is what we're gonna use for role plays for the rest of your life now.
I loved your voice. That was great.
That was good.
Creepiness. God.
And the fact that it was
Okay.
a doll named Dolly was interesting. That was fun. Good job.
I liked waving his brush around as he spoke.
All right, so that was good. You and at bare minimum, like if once I get the YouTube stuff figured out, I will have some clips to throw out once I do the Kickstarter's in review now, which means it'll probably come out next week. But then I'm gonna do like updates and stuff, and I thought it'd be fun to show little clips. So if Ariana, if you're cool with it,
I'm fine with it.
people are going to be a little
You're like, what
who
the
is
hell
that?
kind of game is this?
yeah,
What's going on here?
yeah.
You're just showing the doll, just do a close up of the doll. You're
If he
like,
doesn't make his Kickstarter goal, it's your fault, Eric.
Yeah.
You
Oh, yeah.
scared people away.
That's
Terrible.
totally what I
or
was going
just
for.
jokingly like manage to blur the outside, and you're like, this is images of a real doll talking to a child, and just get your son to dub over your voice at some point.
Yeah, I
I
think
enjoyed this too much.
right on. Well, do you guys like? I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere. Does somebody else want to play? Do you want to try it?
I'll play as the doll.
Okay, right
I'll
on.
have to go get her
myself.
doll from the other room, yeah.
What about you, Rivera?
I'm interested in playing. I like that the role of the doll.
Okay.
But there's also the idea of the kid is trying to basically it's a question game to try to figure out whether the parents are good or bad. That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
And then the doll is supposed to mislead you away
Or
from that.
might be forced to tell you the truth.
Oh, but
Yeah.
yeah, then you do. That's what they say. You ask the question. Okay, I get the game.
And like, as opposed to like a lot of question games, you really do kind of have some control because it's like the kid is mostly the narrator, but the doll mostly knows what's going on.
It's
So-
really going
It's kind of fun. Like you could be a bad player as the kid and being like, my mommy punches me in the face. Is she a good mommy? You know? And then the doll player would have to like,
She only punches you because she loves you.
yeah. But as long as there's kind of some ambiguity there, it's it can work pretty good. All right. Well, why don't you guys?
I'm
give
gonna
it
go
a try?
grab her doll
Okay.
Okay.
real quick.
I think one of the reasons that it makes me laugh even harder is because you have a child, and it's like,
So like,
I do church
Yeah.
stuff. I have a child. Here's a really creepy game, you guys.
yes, yes.
Let me look at the rules again because I have 3 events, right? That's what I'm supposed to go through.
Say again.
I'll be the kid. I'll play the kid with a set,
Okay.
and then you guide me more or less. There's 3 events I have to go through, right?
There's the very beginning is you know your pet has just died, then you go to bed, and then you have a bad dream, and then you wake up and you're going on a special trip. So there's 4 events if you count at the very beginning that your pet has just died.
Okay. And then we have a 20-minute gap to play this.
Yeah, and if it's a little more or a little less, that's fine. But like I think ours was 18, but it really keeps it moving if you shoot for about 5 minutes for
Okay.
each thing.
Let me see if I can make this work then. Dolly, you there?
Yes, what is it, child?
Um, well, my bear, my dog bear, he died, and I just can't understand why. Could
Hey,
you tell me why bear died?
wait, count.
Did we go the same way? I went that
Yep,
way.
we did.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry your dog died, but
is it true that a car ran him over?
yes, I don't know why he died. I don't understand death, because I will never die.
Oh, so what happens when if somebody takes your head off?
If someone were to take my head off, oh, sorry.
What happens if somebody takes your head off?
If someone were to take my head off, I would simply be my head in one place, my body in another. And I would sit there until someone sewed me back together.
Ah, I see, I see. And is it true that the car that ran over Bear was Daddy's car, or was it a stranger?
It, it was a stranger's car. A stranger hit your dog and drove away and will never come back.
I see that. But did the stranger do it on purpose? Did he see Bear, or did he or was it Bear's fault?
No, the stranger never saw Bear. It was dark, and Bear was running across the street, and the stranger hit him and never saw him. It was a terrible, terrible accident.
I see. Well, I think it's time for me to go to bed. I mean, I don't want to make Daddy angry. Do you think Daddy will get angry if I stay late talking to you?
No, your daddy loves you very much, but you should go to sleep. Little children need their sleep.
Okay. So little boy goes to sleep, and we skip down to the dream version. And in the dream, we're gonna add a little bear just to follow the scheme a little bit. And bear, I am riding bear on
Wait, it
horse.
says one parent puts you to bed, then you hear your parents shouting in another room before the dream.
Yeah.
Before the dream.
I skipped the part. I'm sorry. So I hear them shouting, and Dolly, why are my parents arguing about?
Oh, I think one of them had a bad dream and got scared and yelled and woke the other one up. So that's why they're fighting. You should
Is
lay
there,
down and go to sleep. It's very late.
but before I do that, is there anything I can do to make my parents not scream anymore?
No, there's nothing little boys can do to stop their parents from screaming at each other.
Okay, well, I'm going to sleep now then. We're
Better
going,
things.
we're going back to the dream. There's a bear, little boy is riding bear down the road, and there is this cliff. And on the other side, the parents are waiting for little boy as we see me going riding hard. I'm like, come on, bear, we can make the jump, we can make it to the parents. And then I suddenly see that Dolly is right in front of me, as I'm riding kind of like a horse. And I ask, Dolly, Can we really make this jump? Can we make the jump?
No, you can't make that jump. Not even in a dream. Stop Bear now, or you'll get hurt even worse.
All right, I was like, oh God, what about my parents? What can I do to get to the other side?
Your parents will be fine. Don't worry about them. Worry about getting home safe with you and Bear. Your parents are grown-ups. They know how to be safe, and they'll see you again.
Okay, so I'm gonna little boy just pulls Bear back and like, all right, Bear, just wait over here. I'm gonna look at the cliff and I'll be back, and then we head back home. And little boy just jumps down from Bear. He walks down to the cliff and he sees the cliff and there's like a big gaping abyss. And as he turns back, he suddenly realizes that Bear is no longer there. There's a large, big desert, and the only thing standing there is Dolly. And he says, Dolly, what happened? Where did Bear go?
Bear
Where
was
did Bear go?
Bear
Dolly?
was never here. You dreamt about Bear. He felt very real because you were in a dream. That's the only time you'll get to see Bear anymore, is in your dreams. Enjoy your time with him.
All right. I'm gonna, I guess, end this dream scene here and wake up, and we go now to where did my document go? Which one is the next event?
One of your parents is waking you up
Mhm.
and is getting you ready to go on some sort of a trip.
Oh, we're going to a special trip. All right. So my parent wakes me up and tells me to get ready. I start getting ready. I said, Dolly, where are we going? Do you know?
We're going to a party. We're going to a party with cake and ice cream, and you're going to have lots of fun. There's going to be other children there to play with you.
All right, so I get ready for this party. You know, I get my best set of clothes. I pick Dolly up. I'm like, but Dolly, weren't we supposed to go to mom's work today? I can't remember why.
Oh, your mother's not feeling very well, and Daddy's going to take you to a new place. You might be there for a while, but it's going to be very fun, and you're going to like it there. And like I said, there'll be lots of children for you to play with.
Okay. Very well. So little boy just starts getting dressed, and as he starts getting to the car, we see Daddy stumbling over, like he's definitely not in his full senses. And little boy just looks at Dolly and says, "Dolly, why is Daddy acting like that?"
He must have hit his head, and he's not feeling very well. Speak very softly around him. Don't shout, or you might make his head hurt.
Okay, Dolly.
He's going
I'll
to
try.
take you somewhere. Make sure you put your seatbelt on.
Okay, I put the seatbelt on. Okay, Dolly, I'll be a good boy. I'll do my best to stay quiet. And the car starts riding around. It's kind of like just going from side to side a little bit, but it's just pretty much a decent. And we're going very far. I haven't really been down this direction before. I'm not sure where this party is taking place, but it's probably in some very fun area. So I asked Dolly, Dolly, what is the name of this place we're going to?
It's called an orphanage.
Dolly, what is an orphanage?
It's a place where children go whose parents can't take care of them any longer.
Oh,
But there's lots of other children there. Like I said, you'll have so much fun.
is there another event going on?
And that's it. That would be where it ended with that scene.
Yeah, because I'm thinking we can probably close it there. I definitely believe that Dolly was actually. I'm not gonna go far saying good, but it was very.
So do you think the parents are good or bad?
Yeah. I think the parents are good. They're just making terrible decisions. What was your call said?
The father was a drunk
Mhm.
and very abusive towards the mother.
Mhm.
And they finally just had to give you up. They couldn't afford to take care of you anymore. They were a mess. And so the
Okay.
doll was trying to cushion the
Yeah,
world
that's what I
around
was
you.
getting.
Yeah,
That's what I was
he was
getting at,
trying to
but
soften the blows.
I wasn't quite. I mean, I understood that the parents there was something wrong with them, but I'm not gonna go as far as saying they were terrible parents, you know, or at least they probably cared about their kid. You know what? This is a pretty interesting thing.
What sucked whenever we both did truth on those last two questions, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy, it's an orphanage, and your parents are giving you up, kid.
That just changed the whole panorama. Like I said,
Like, grow a set, kid.
I
that
did really enjoy watching this, especially I'm so used to playing with Seth, but watching Josh's face when you first did the voice. It's like-
Yes. Oh man, that was awesome.
yeah, it's an interesting thing. I just think that maybe what we want to figure out from the parents will probably be a bit more than rather say they're good or bad. Because right now you can say they're going through a horrible situation and they're trying to do good for their kid. Maybe we want to find out more about what is actually going on with their parents.
Well, I think it would be interesting if some set of question is maybe if the parents see the kid too attached to the doll.
And they think he's
I'm like
crazy.
saying this is like an extension. Like someone want to do an extension is trying to get the doll, trying to separate the doll and the kid, and then having that person be the doll decide is this doll supernatural that appears out of nowhere again, or is the kid actually slowly just losing it, or is the kid had made such an imaginary friend that
Well, I
he
thought
can't
the
part with
special
it.
place could be like a mental hospital for children.
Yeah.
Because he spends his whole day talking to his damn doll. And they're like, the kid's crazy.
There is no doll.
That could be the twist is he doesn't even own a doll. He's just
There
talking to
is
the
no
air.
So it'd be interesting of going using those mechanics to figure out a bit more. Like, was there ever a doll? What are the circumstances of the parents? Why are the parents doing what they do? Just in case, like you said, my parents are punching me in the face. Maybe the doll can answer well and truthfully. Well, your parents are punching you in the face because you got a knife in your hand and you're trying to stab them to death. There's so much more we can find using this mechanic.
But I think you still have to keep it vague because it has to be like a kid who's never gonna fully know.
Yeah.
Until they're like an adult. When they look back, they'll be like, "Oh, that's what was going on in my household." Because at the time, you're like oblivious most of the time.
I do love the aspect of it because it is beautifully horrible of all the consequences. Like it's a beautiful horror story of sorts because you're taking this innocence of it and you're making it like a terrible thing. Like you can this doll can either be your ally or your worst enemy, and as me playing the innocent, you're going with whatever the doll tells you, and you can't be that kid that goes like, "Screw you, doll! I'm going ape shit." This is
it's very interesting, the innocence of it. It's kind of like, wow, you have to go through with the doll. The doll is your friend, even though the doll might be bringing you to doom,
Yeah, I do love the fact
But I thought in the story that I did, to say if the parents were evil or wonderful, it was hard because they did give him up. which was
Right.
could be considered wonderful because
Mm.
wow, he's not gonna have to live around those like horrible people anymore.
That's what
So like
I'm
there's
saying.
some ambiguity in what wonderful and evil mean in
Exactly.
the
So that
game.
was sort of instead. I was thinking, maybe we went a little bit too deep from what the game's trying to do, but I think maybe just to figure out a bit more through asking the doll what exactly is going on with their parents. Because the line between wonderful and evil, there's a lot of shades
Well, I think
there.
it also depends on the age that you play the
Yeah.
kid.
Oh yes, yes. that's
Because a 4-year-old is not going to ask the same questions as a 10-year-old
true.
will.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
we still even Seth will tell you when they're in 3rd grade, like even though they won't admit to it, they're still infatuated with dolls. But it's a solo thing. It's a private thing as a child. When you're getting older, as at least from my personal experience, is like you no longer really show anyone when you're like in the 3rd grade. Oh, I still play with dolls, but you'll still sleep with it. It's a sort of like a safety blanket, and I think it's a very interesting thing of like how you would play it, and it's a good introduction game for role players that aren't used to role playing.
Would
Yeah.
also be like a good beyond role playing, good improv game in general, like
Yeah.
an improv warm up exercise.
Well, you're also
Because it's
you're
all
made
about
to
playing
use
off the other person.
Yeah, and you're made to use a doll. You're made. That I think that's one thing that helps because
You give
for a
up
lot
a
of
prop that you can kind of filter yourself through.
yeah,
rather than
because
just you.
when you're new to role play, you're sort of like, oh, should I do voices? That sounds stupid. I shouldn't do this. As a doll, you're able to sort of music channel, and so I think that's I
Yeah.
like the aspects.
I was talking to somebody about LARP, which is not something that I have a lot of experience with. I don't have any problem with it necessarily. And one of the things that she was talking about was like how they try to design games so that it like whatever the mechanics are, it interferes as little as possible with not just the story but with your emotional experience of the story.
Yeah.
And you'll have a prop or you'll have like a combat system, and it like in a well-designed LARP, then it's supposed to allow you to emotionally connect with your character, which if you would have tried to sell that to me 15 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, I just want to play Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But like I like the idea that it's like, okay, I have a doll, I can be a terrible person or a wonderful person, and like you're a kid. It's like technically, by some definitions, this is a tiny LARP. But
I
really,
think it works a lot, especially for players that this is a discussion that me and Seth have talked over and over with people. Oh, like when we look at certain players, is with players that aren't used to playing the bad guy in a single shot or in a multi, like it's really hard to make yourself be like the villainous person at times or play the good guy all the time. There's some people that are just structured to play the same thing. And this helps because if you're deciding the doll's going to be evil, well, you can that's the freaking doll. That's not me. So it sort of helps them build through, which is good because even I told Seth like in one shots, it's so easy for me in one shots to play that character that does not give a crap about anybody. But when you're doing a longer game, it's harder too because you're supposed to get along with everyone, or that's the way the GM puts it up for you. Even if you're say, playing Monster Hearts, where you're encouraged not to get along with everyone. So it's a good, basically throw someone the doll, and they have to make the decision before they start playing. Is this doll good? Is the doll bad? Or are the parents good? Or are the parents bad? And you have to make that decision ultimately. And you have to make a decision that makes the story interesting. You can't make the doll good and then the parents good, because what's the use of it? Why are we gonna use mechanics of are you lying or are you telling the truth? So
I agree with you, although next time I play, I'm probably going to steal or modify Seth's approach that the doll is the doll is lying to cushion. So it's like maybe the parents are like, it might be fun to make, okay, the parents are pretty much wonderful, something bad is happening, but it's not the parents' fault, and the doll is
and
the
a
doll is
misdirection kind of.
yeah. Just
which
because,
works because parents get divorced or there's an economic
And
situation.
that's what I'm getting at. So it's a bit hard to establish one thing. And even when the doll is good, the doll was trying to be good. At one point, it felt like the doll was being horrible because we all thought the doll was completely lying to the kid, you know?
Well, like the way I approached it was as Ariana and Josh were playing, I started to think of the Velveteen Rabbit, and so I started to come up with this. Okay, if this is about death, and Velveteen Rabbit is very much about like death. And so I started to kind of filter that into the character, because like kind of at the beginning I was like, okay, well he's not going to understand what it means to die, because he's a doll, but he can't understand what bad things are that are happening to this kid, so he's going to try to make sure that he doesn't experience that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And the Velveteen Rabbit is also the fact of him wanting, the doll wanting to be real, which you can twist it around with the doll wanting to be real itself.
Yeah.
And as we touched before, the parents maybe being like, that doll isn't freaking real. Why are you treating it as a real thing? So it's a lot of, you can do a lot with the game, and it's interesting because it's sort of like you got 20 minutes, go, and it's sort of like. So
about the time thing, I would suggest not to focus so much and try to make those 20 minutes, because at one point I thought about just extending it, but I pretty much had an idea what was going on. That's why I ended up a bit early. I think I only went like almost 15 minutes. Or even less
I like the 20 minutes though, because it's
I think it's a good.
You can't drag it on for too long. You've got to.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to come up with alternate scenarios. So like in this scenario, a pet's died, but other like situations involving the doll.
Yeah, you guys haven't seen this yet because it's not posted, but Toby is gonna write like as the Kickstarter. Like I'm doing the world's smallest Kickstarter, which I fully expect to fund, and mostly just because I think it would be funny to have a Kickstarter with a ridiculously low goal.
Like $20
for a 2-page
$20
game.
for my Kickstarter.
Yeah. Well, the game is going to fit on a postcard, and I got I'll tell you guys, I got a quote for like under $100 for 1,000 postcards.
Wow.
So
that's pretty good.
Let's do it. But Toby, by the time we use any of this video, the Kickstarter will hopefully be live. He's offered to write 4 additional pages of rules, and one of the things that he wants to do is add like replacement events, because I think that is a really easy way to take the game in a different direction.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I'm making a list partly based on what you guys are saying of other things to suggest. Like he had some awesome immediate ideas.
Yeah, I run a Monster Hearts campaign, and one of my players is using one of his skins, and I really do love his skins.
No, you're talking about Topher, not Toby.
Toby?
Yeah, different.
Toby's, I've read his stuff, and he's pretty freaking good.
I don't know if I've read anything of Toby's.
Toby does reviews for games,
and he wrote like an Adventure Time game that was really good that I really liked.
Okay.
And I'll send you the link to his blog. It's very good because he'll do campaigns and write an entry for each session, and so it kind of has helped me learn how a game should play after I've just read the game, and I need a sense of, well, what does a session look like? He's very good at that. Yeah, and then his stuff for Heroine was very good too, that he wrote for the Girls Elsewhere.
I need to pick that up.
I actually read those books thanks to you. Even though it was funny.
Oh yeah, she read the Tamora Pierce books.
Oh, cool.
After we played, yeah, she knocked out all 4 of them, was it?
Yeah, I knocked out all 4 of them in a couple of days, in like a week or so, and I was like telling Seth, I thought in the back of my head the comparison of between the Hunger Games and those. I like strong female characters, and I was telling Seth the one thing I give up at the least for Hunger Games is at the least the character's not so focused on getting married. It's sort of sad at the end of the Tamara Pierce stories that she's like, I really want to be with someone. You're like, no! At the end of the book, you're like, but you were all like about being super independent, and now you're just like, well, the prince is getting married. Now I want to be with someone. You're just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I like those center settings because, as Seth jokingly goes, like, "Oh, you're such a little feminist." I was like, there's so few games that focus on the girl. Like,
That's
Yeah.
kind of true, though. That is kind
And
of true.
the other ones, like all of the ones that were based off of books, like most of them I hadn't read very many by that author, if any, and as soon as the person said, "This is what I want to base it off of," I went out and got the books, and it's like it was almost like cheating for me because it's like, hey, cool people recommend good books that are like this, and I got like 4 or 5 different authors. So yeah, that I hadn't read any Tamora Pierce either before she recommended or said that she was going to write based off of that one.
I like the fact that at the end she starts bringing in different cultures and she starts describing like, hey, these people have different skin colors. Everyone, please acknowledge this, and they have different beliefs. So I enjoy that because a lot of times during a game, like I will joke with Rivera about the fact is like in our Monster Hearts campaign, I was like, Rivera's like, oh, my character's biracial, and I'm like, whoa, Rivera, you're the only biracial kid in this whole game,
Yeah.
apparently. So when you see another brown person, you're like, what? Look!
Well, it's interesting, yeah, our default when we play, without ever saying it, is usually, oh, white. They're usually white characters.
You know what's funny though? If anybody ever asks me any character I play, I will always say they're multiracial. Always.
Interesting.
Always. I never
Wait.
assume my character is not even Puerto Rican, not even Hispanic. I will always assume my character is a multiple mix of races. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't know, maybe he's half Irish, half South American, half Peruvian, something like that. Because the idea of one race, one race being the default, I don't know, it has always been alien to me.
Well, it's also because you don't see yourself in the media, and it's sort of hard to represent. It's sort of like you just accept it as it is. Because I remember it was Wonder Falls that like Seth got me to like sit down and watching, and I was like, it was the first time I saw a genuine connection between a biracial couple. Because like the brother falls in love with her best friend that happens to be black, and there's never any mention. It's sort of like I told Seth, well, it's interesting because you see in like British programs, there's like a biracial kid. There's like nobody ever mentioned like there's like black characters that are on screen a lot, but unfortunately in the American stuff, it's like I watched Buffy and it's like, oh, so you have one token black guy, even though I love Buffy, but it's like there's your token black guy who's gonna be on the show, and you don't have a lot of different colored characters.
You know, also another reason why I think a lot like that, because I mean, if you think about it, in Puerto Rico, you have Puerto Ricans of all different colors. My dad is a red hair, pale guy, like white pale. He's completely full Hispanic. My mom is dark skinned, like she has a bit darker skin than mine, and so like I've always seen multicolored couples. This is something that was like normal to me until I moved to the States for a while, and that's when I started seeing that, okay, you have the black people together, the white people together, and that always
strikes you. It's very shocking. It's I mean, it is because people like here will assume that I'm are you biracial? Or one time it's like, you're Jewish, right? I'm like, no, I'm Hispanic.
Yeah, my brother and sister are biracial, but I have lived in a couple of states. Now in Dallas, there's a lot of diversity, but in most of the places I've lived, it's like, oh, there's a brown person, I'm probably related to them, Otherwise, no.
That's fine.
But awesome. Well, you guys, I had a really good time. I'm going to. I think I'm going to end our little deal here.
Okay.
So to give myself some time to figure out how to work the video, but I'll shoot you guys a message if I can't figure it out. But like, I think
It'll
Like-
automatically upload to your YouTube page, and you can put it in private until you're ready to go in. And then YouTube has a thing that you're able to go in and edit it yourself if you want to.
Okay, cool.
I'm only telling you that because I upload stuff for work all the time, and then just like, you can edit your video, and I'm like, I'll use Windows Media Maker instead.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
then.
awesome. Well, you guys, thank you very much, and I'm sure I will jump on a chance to game with you guys again sometime. But I appreciate this one.
All right.
So,
Josh.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
good night.